Film Rage presents Verbal Masturbation with Bryce and Jim. Welcome to a very special edition of Verbal Masturbation at the Calgary International Film Festival. Today we're talking to Vivieno Caldinelli, an award-winning director who has worked with giants in the industry such as Taika Waititi, Mark McKinney, Julian Richings, and Roddy Piper. He also seems to have a strange obsession with toilets. Welcome to the show.
Hi there. Thanks for having me.
Well, we could not be happier. And as Calgary International Film Festival has just launched, effective yesterday, and your film is coming up a couple of times, so we're going to talk about that later. But we, on this podcast, we have a thing that we do to kind of break the ice, make the directors feel a little bit more welcome. We call it OR. And basically, we're going to ask you a question, and you have to answer one thing or the other.
Okay.
Are you ready? See, Viv has no idea the questions we're going to ask, so it could be scary for him.
Okay.
All right. So, first one, Mel Brooks or John Landis?
Holy shit. Right out of the gate. That's a good one. Mel Brooks.
Okay.
Hey, just leave it at that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's an or. You don't even have to explain it. Sometimes people want to, but if you just, because then if you over-explain, you're probably going to get yourself into a bigger hole.
It's super tough because they were the first, for me, my first major influences of like comedy horror, right?
Yep.
Even though like the comedy in the American Werewolf was way more sophisticated, but you know, yeah, wow, they were huge. But I think like more of the early Mel Brooks stuff really took to me. And Landis, you know, even Kentucky Fried Movie, a lot of people don't know he did, you know, but his comedy, you know, from Trading Places and, you know, even Coming to America, which I even liked the sequel, actually. I thought it was really, really underrated. People didn't appreciate it. It was very much the first one. And so what were people expecting, you know? And so I think if you liked the first one and, you know, had that kind of, you wanted that kind of energy and that kind of tone, then it was definitely, you know, it really hit the mark on that note. But yeah, I think razor thin. That's a really tough war.
Brooks for the win. Okay, this one might be a little easier, but maybe not. Psycho Gorman or Manborg?
Oh, I Psycho Gorman. Psycho Gorman. For sure.
Awesome.
I can watch Adam Brooks for days. For me, just the one scene with him on the toilet and him in the truck as well, and just being that shitty dad. That puts it over the edge for me, for sure.
Nice. Tokyo or Sao Paulo?
Oh, Tokyo.
All right.
Tokyo.
That obviously was another easy one. I got to make these tougher. Okay, so this one you get a double or choice. It's Blue Jays or Raptors, or the Tiger Cats or the Argos. Choose which one. Doesn't matter.
I will take Tiger Cats or Argos.
Okay.
And I'll go Tiger Cats.
All right. Well, Hamilton, right? Still in your heart, I assume?
Yeah, no, for sure. That's like I don't root really for any Toronto teams per se. I'd rather see them win than lose. You know, and with the Raptors, when they were doing, you know, they had their, you know, when they were hot for sure, was really following them. But, I'm not a big Toronto, I don't like the Leafs. And, I would prefer to Hamilton for sure in any way, shape, or form.
I was born in Toronto, so, I'm also not a Leafs fan, so...
Yeah.
Okay, this one's another tough one for your sweet tooth. It's butter tart or Nanaimo bar.
Well, butter tarts. I do not understand the draw of Nanaimo bars. I've never understood that. butter tarts by a country mile.
All right. Well, that's the same for me. You and me are in the same camp for sure.
All right. So, congratulations on your film at CIFF, Calgary International Film Festival. We love seeing practical effects. Tell us your thoughts on using practical over CGI.
Well, it's just the fact it's tangible. It's there on the set. You know what I mean? You know what you're getting. You know, and it's definitely a little bit more work, and it's definitely more problematic for the potential for it. I mean, but yeah, it's I would, you know, I want practical effects by all means possible if you can. Again, it's just like, you know what you're shooting, it's there, and your performers can interact with it, and I can interact with it, and I can manipulate it on set there, you know. And so for me, it's just it is a no-brainer. And I also think there's a charm that you get, you know, with the practical effects that, you know, yeah, with CG, it just, you know, there's great CG out there for sure, you know, and we had to use some, but it was only when absolutely positively necessary, so to speak.
I love that answer, by the way. We are huge practical effects fans on this show, so love hearing that. We noticed, and of course we brought it up earlier, and I'm sure every single Canadian horror fan did, but the Manborg clip in Scared Shitless. Tell us a little bit about that and why you chose that clip.
Well, because, you know, it's just an homage to Steve, to be honest. It was just, yeah, you know, it's tough putting something in there. You don't want to just keep putting in, you know, Night of the Living Dead or some kind of rights-free stuff. You know, we thought about putting hockey in there after the fact, just because it would be a good kind of setup to a callback when his dad's talking about his days and he's playing hockey and stuff. But yeah, you know, we were just thinking about it, and, you know, Steve's on set, and, you know, Steve's been a huge part of my, you know, career success, what have you. So yeah, it was kind of a nice nod to Steve that, you know, he's a part of the movie too. You know, he's behind the scenes there, but, you know, kind of a way to kind of bring him present as well.
I was like giddy as a schoolboy when I saw the clip.
Hey, I got a copy of Manborg proudly displayed on my DVD shelf.
Well, that's one of my big posters. I have an autographed Manborg poster framed, and usually have that in my bathroom because that's the most traffic.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's one that you could put as a screensaver behind you on any of your web calls for sure, right?
All right. So how did you get Mark McKinney and Julian Richings to appear in the film?
Well, Julian, we just put we just reached out. We just asked. He was available. You know, it was a half day essentially, so wasn't too tough. Mark and I are quite good friends. I generally try to have Mark in everything I do. Then generally try to kill him in everything I do. And so it's it's always, you know, generally a schedule thing, and, you know, generally have to write something little special for him. You know,
nice.
But yeah, he's always he's a very, very, very good friend. He's like a brother, a mentor, what have you.
That's awesome. Like this movie just breathes Canadian all through it. It's just as a Canadian horror fan, it's just like, it's such a joy. The film is so fun, by the way. Like, it's just.
Thank you. That's exactly what we wanted. We were trying to be just ourselves. You know what I mean? And then leaning into the Canadiana. And, I feel like if you got to be what you are when you're making it and what you're trying to say, you know, and, when I made my movie in LA, you made it take place in LA. You know what I mean? You made it in, you know what I mean? When you're making a movie in Canada and you're renting a movie, make it take place in Canada. I think, you know, there's these in-betweens that sometimes where non-American movies try to be something that they're not, so to speak. That's when you know, it kind of comes across as either reaching or disingenuous, or just something the sincerity isn't there. You know, it's not really you. So yeah, that's something we're very proud of.
Yeah, and it's a big thing, I think, for Canadian audiences, right? That actually, when they see Canada in a film, it's like, yes, this director's proud to be Canadian. I think it's great.
Yeah. Well, same thing if you watch an Australian movie or a New Zealand movie or a UK movie or an Italian, you know what I mean? Like that's what it is. You know what I mean? That's why you're watching it. That's so, you know, that's like all the Peter Jackson early stuff, man. You know what I mean? That was just New Zealand through and through, and I loved every minute of it. You know, Mad Max was just Aussie. It was great, you know, and American stuff was American. So, you know, and even like Cronenberg, early Cronenberg, that was, you know, Canadian. So it's just, you know, at least I think so. It felt it. I don't recall seeing any money, but, you know, I'm trying to think back into the very early
space. Yeah, I think he never tried to hide that he was Canadian, like even from back in, like.
Was Scanners, like, trying to think, because I know it was like a lot of the malls in Montreal and stuff like that they shot some of the stuff, but I don't remember what actually city it took place in.
Yeah, I don't know if it tells you. It's a good point though, but yeah, I don't think Cronenberg's ever been afraid to talk being Canadian.
No, absolutely. And even when he got big, he always tried to come back here to shoot.
Oh, yeah. He's my absolute favorite director of all time, just so you know.
Was he really?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, this seemed so much fun to shoot. Like, how much actual fun was this to shoot? And did everybody on set just have a blast?
Yeah, no, for sure. It was a grind. Like, it was a fucking grind. Like, that's the thing. It's like, ultimately, you do have, you're passionate, and that work is work, but it's still fun. It's hard to explain, but it's still very difficult, right? It was a real grind for that crew, and God bless them all. You know, from Steve to, you know, Rudy, the cinematographer, to our producers, our AD, everything. It was like such a short schedule, and we really didn't have much money. So like it was an absolute grind. And you know, you're working at such a breakneck speed. You know, we got 2 takes max. You know, so, and you know, we didn't really have much time beforehand to prepare. So it was just, everybody had to kind of be on. There had to be a lot of trust there, and also a lot of trust with them, with me, because sometimes I just didn't have time to explain. I just needed it done a certain way because I knew that's the way it was supposed to be, it needed to be done for it to work, kind of thing. So yeah, it was a pretty intense shoot. I definitely have a lot of good memories of it, but I also have a lot of I don't know, you know, it was, you come out of something and you're better, you know, for that experience, you know, and I think that's the best way to put it. It really was a testament to our crew, to our performers, to, you know, our producers, and to myself, you know what I mean, to pull that out in that such short amount of time. And it's not something, it's alchemy. Like, it honestly is. Like, you can't, like, some of it was such a unique combination of people and skills and talent and personalities to pull something like this off.
Yeah, to the viewer, you'd never know that. Like, to the viewer, it felt like everybody was having so much fun.
Yeah, I think, you know, definitely, you know, there was, I think everyone was definitely passionate, you know, and everyone was really driven to make this as good as it can be. You know, and yeah, that always comes out on the screen, but like there was definitely fun moments for sure. But it was intense too. It was fun. I do like that. I do like working with my back against the wall. You know, it's, when you have to kind of rely on instinct, and you know, it's not about just, taking some couple of screenshots of scenes that look similar in other movies and here, make it look like this. You know what I mean? Which I think a lot of, you know, people do sometimes, and you know, but yeah, no, this was everybody, all hands on deck, and they hit it out of the park.
Yeah, awesome, they did.
So you've made a lot of comedy, a lot of horror comedy. Do you have any desire to do a project that doesn't make us laugh? Yeah, but like, no, at the same time, like
I think it would just be less and less comedy in it, but I think inherently there would always be some bit of comedy in it. It's just
all the
by
best
nature.
dramas have comedy in it. There's no question.
Yeah, like what was the my God, the Daniel Day-Lewis?
There Will Be Blood.
No, well, that too actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the one after the when he was the designer.
Yeah. Why has that left me as well?
Geez, I can't remember.
Oh, this
that
is
was
sad.
one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Legit, you know, and it was intentionally funny.
Oh, yeah.
But you know, drama. But that was just like, you know, yeah. I think comedy is inherent in everything, in every situation, in every kind of, you know, in some ways, short. So it's hard not to just kind of pull that out a little bit more. So no. So I guess the short answer is no.
No plans to make a movie full of dread for those of us that love dread.
Nothing but dread.
I would say horror and stuff, but not a straight drama. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't really appeal to me. You know.
Well, do what you're good at.
Yeah, and it's just like it goes back to what you know. I want to have fun, and I want, you know, and make what I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
You know, I think once you, like I guess if I found a story that I was really passionate about that I wanted to make, then yeah, maybe. But that's like I don't feel I need to prove anything, you know. So yeah, until that time comes, and something, you know. But maybe when I get even older, who knows? But as now, no, I'm happy. Just, you know, I got a quite a big slate of stuff that I want to make, and none of it is very serious. So we'll go.
Nice, I love it. So we know we already talked about the fact that you couldn't make it to Calgary for this festival, but have you ever been here? And if you have been here, why did you ever leave?
No, I've never been to Calgary.
Never been to Calgary?
I've never been to Alberta.
Wow.
I've been to, like, going out to, I went to BC once.
Yeah.
For like 48 hours for a film festival, like, geez.
Okay, so follow-up question. What do you have against Western Canada?
It's just far, man. It's just far. It's a big country. And then I spent a lot of time out east. Never been to Newfoundland. But I spent a lot of time in Nova Scotia and Halifax, which I love. And Montreal a bit. Ontario, obviously. I went to Saskatchewan once or twice. And Manitoba. I went to Winnipeg a couple of times. It's just film festivals, and if I can make it there, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
And even the United States, I haven't been that many places there, you know. But Europe, I've been to a ton. Asia, I've been a ton. You know, I don't know. Just haven't made it there.
It happens.
Nothing against.
Maybe your next film you'll come out and see
you can
us.
film it here because we have
Yeah.
one of the best film industries in Canada, right here in Alberta, with the biggest mountains.
That's true.
The mountains are
Make it nice.
really big.
Yeah, really big.
No, I definitely want to make it out there. I was really looking forward to coming to the festival. Honestly, I was really disappointed. You know, not to say I'm not happy for my friend getting married, but you know what?
Yeah, you're like, damn you! Could you pick another date?
Of all the days.
Yeah. So how did you meet Brandon Cohen and get involved in this shitless journey?
Through my agent. I guess that they had watched Portal to Hell, and they had the feature, and they were looking for directors, and they just connected with my agent, and then I got the script, and I read the script, and I loved it, and it was pretty straightforward from there. They're great guys, and love working with them, and yeah. And, you know, hopefully we're gonna, not even hopefully, we are. We're gonna make a couple more at least.
Are you known now as the Plunger King of Canada? Is that what it is?
I think so. I think I'm more. It feels like I'm more like confined places. All of my movies have been in apartment buildings and increasingly smaller locations within small locations. You know, So I want to branch out. I want to do something outside for once, maybe. You know,
like Alberta.
Like Alberta. Yeah, there you go.
It's a big place.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
Do you have any upcoming festivals that you're attending with the film?
Yeah, we got a couple big ones coming up. After Calgary, we got the Scream Fest in LA. We're going to do that. And then Morbido in Mexico City. And then there's a bunch of other ones after that. I'm not quite sure which ones there are. A lot of European ones. But I'm looking forward to Scream Fest and hopefully Morbido if I can make it there too.
Nice. So, any upcoming projects that you feel the need to talk about?
Yeah, well, like I said, the sequel we have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're gearing up for that. I think Brandon's almost done with that draft. If not, very close to it. But yeah, I have a couple other projects, like feature-wise, I'm trying to get off the ground. I have an animated series that I have in development with some friends, and hopefully that takes off soon. And then I have another show I just started actually talking with Steve about as well, that we're going to work on together. And so yeah, I got lots of things in the pot.
You get any time to sleep?
I really don't want to talk about because it's something that really hasn't been done yet. The creature, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I kind of want to get that on the down low. It's been done, but it just hasn't been done right, in my opinion, or done in this way that I want to do it. I shouldn't probably say, but yeah. So and we'll see what happens. But I think probably Great Scared Shitless is the focus. I think for now. And but you never know, like a project's come and then that's it, and then that becomes your priority and this and that. But you can't really, you have to have a bunch of things going,
Yeah, you got to make sure you got a job to work on next, right? And there's going to be another toilet requirement at some point for sure.
Yeah, you never know. Yep.
This is our final question.
Yep.
And so you've been doing this forever, it seems, which we're happy about. But is there ever been a question that no one's asked you that you were hoping that you could actually talk about?
No, not off the top of my head. About the movie or about my career or about
any of those things, whatever. Like, what's on your mind right now? What did we not ask you that you feel that you should mention then?
I don't know. I have no idea. I'm lousy at interviews.
This is exactly the response that I knew we were going to get. I said, Jim, this question is going to tank.
No. I think it's a really good question. And I think a lot of people that are that don't kind of like, I don't know. I've been asked so many questions. Feels like, so far in this kind of festival run and it's no, I think it's you've covered quite a bit. I really don't know what else to say other than talked about the crew, talked about the experiences, talked about everything. I think I think you guys were quite thorough and yeah. Is there any questions you want to ask me that you feel that I might not want to answer or something? You could. I'll offer that up. You can ask me whatever you want.
Oh, right. Well, this is loaded. Okay, so one thing for me. So I'm probably one of the biggest fans of Baroness von Sketch. So,
nice.
I freaking love that show. But then again, I love Canadian sketch comedy. So how is it to work with that team? Because they are funny as fuck. Like,
oh yeah. Absolutely. No, it was a blast working with them. It was an absolute blast. I was really, really lucky too. It's like, it's a bit of a different, thing when it's like, movies are mine, you know what I mean, as a director. So when you're going on that set, it's theirs, right? So it's really kind of facilitating their vision and their kind of sensibility and stuff, which I was over the moon to do. But yeah, it's sketch is also my wheelhouse. That's what I came up doing. I was a huge sketch fan back in the day, and sketch is really tough now. No one's really making it. They were the last greats, you know what I mean? And no, it was got to do some amazing stuff. And be a part of that was awesome. It just got into the last season, so I was very, very happy with that.
Are you connected to them at all? Is there a chance for you to work with them on future projects?
With some of them individually, yeah, absolutely. I don't think collectively they, I think Jen and Meredith have a show on CBC, but they all have their individual things, kind of thing. So yeah, if it's a fit, it's really what it's about. It's just about the sensibility and different things. And am I the best director to be on that, given the content and what have you? With Baroness, for sure, it's just like I have a big sketch background, but yeah, depends. Unless they're going to do something scary or something, you know what I mean? And I don't know if I'm necessarily a fit other than just sketch, right? So
nice. I love it.
But it'd be a joy to work with any of them.
That's good to hear. So, thanks so much for joining us today. Is there any place that you would like to tell our listeners, any last words, or how they can worship you from afar like we do here at Film Rage?
Well, I guess they can, get on IMDb and hit that rate button, I guess, and tell us what you think. Hopefully it's positive. And you can follow us on Instagram, which is, I believe it is _scared shitless. Let me just double check here. Yeah, I think IMDb is the best thing, or Rotten Tomatoes is good to check out. And you can do your ratings on there. But yeah, or you can follow us at _scared shitless, all one word, on Instagram. And yeah, and I guess that's it. That's it. Where you try to get your tickets for Calgary, and I think we got 2 screenings there. So hopefully we get a lot of people and a lot of happy people, and yeah, they can just spread the word and the buzz online as much as possible.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to tell our listeners where they can get the tickets for. So it's at CIFFcalgary.com. And you can see Scared Shitless Saturday. So this is Friday, so we're going to release this today at 9:30 p.m. That's at the Globe Cinema Down. And then they're also playing a second screening on Thursday, September 26th at 4 p.m. at Chinook. So get online, buy your tickets. Don't miss this in cinema, which is something that Bryce and I preach the gospel about cinema.
Yeah, and we can't wait to watch this with a crowd too, because that's going to be insane.
Yeah. Well, it's best with the crowd, for sure.
Totally. All right. Well, thanks, Ragers, and find us on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Film Rage YYC. Check out everything Film Rage at filmrageyyc.com. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and send us emails to filmragecalgary@gmail.com. That's it for this special verbal masturbation during CIFF Calgary, where you can find everything about the festival, again, at ciffcalgary.com. Until next time, rage on.
Rage on.